Some of the secrets to living longer and better can be found with the right lifestyle medicine. Dr. Paul Smith and physician assistant James Campbell join us to explain more about Hawaii Pacific Neuroscience. Nice to have both you gentlemen on Living 808.
Well, Tanya, thanks for having us.
Well, let's start by talking more about what exactly lifestyle medicine is.
Well, Tanya, lifestyle medicine is a component of modern medicine that we use incorporating 6 pillars of health to prevent, halt, reverse, or stall chronic illnesses. A lot of these can be preventable. So that's our goal, is to help patients to identify those lifestyle components that will help prevent those illnesses.
Okay, so Dr. Smith, I hear 6 pillars of health. Let's break those down for us, please.
Well, Tanya, I think that you really have to kind of look at the broader picture in terms of we're trying to attack the chronic disease that seem to be so prevalent in the United States in terms of cardiovascular disease, strokes, just the obesity, diabetes, and lifestyle medicine presents the opportunity by making changes in our behavior that we can address those issues in 6 specific areas. One being nutrition, and primarily looking at a plant-based diet, whole foods. Number 2 being physical activity. We tend to sit too much. Third one being sleep, getting adequate sleep. The 4th being stress, managing our stress. And the 5th are social connections, how we interact with others, our relationships. And finally, the 6th, avoiding any risky substances, especially tobacco, alcohol use.
Okay, that makes sense. So when people see you, what exactly do they get? Is it some pep talk, some coaching, specific lifestyle medicine?
Well, I like to start with a self-assessment. I have several forms that I have patients fill out, and that helps me to identify what their goals are. I think it's important to find out where the patient is at in terms of their willingness, their capability, or ability to make changes in their life, because really the patient does most of the work, or all of the work. And my job is to connect them with resources that enable them to make these changes that are important to take control of their illnesses.
Of course, all 6 pillars are important. Is there one that stands out to you that you can have the biggest impact with?
Definitely when I look at, you know, how these different things can affect our lives, when it comes down to one thing that we could do, it would be stop smoking. Because when you look at how smoking affects cardiovascular disease, the possibility of strokes, you really have to take that as kind of the primary thing that can affect a person's life. And being able to stop smoking, or at least reduce the smoking, can have a major impact on that person's life.
All right, we've seen some video of people that look like doing stretches and various things. Are there activities and workshops that you have planned where people can come out and learn more?
Yes, actually we do have a symposium that we host along with Adventist Health Castle. We have this symposium. It's coming up April 17th. So I encourage people to go to Hawaii Pacific Neuroscience website and register for that. We also have lectures that we put on that are done the 2nd Friday of every month at St. Francis Medical Center. So they can also register for that online through hawaiipacificneuroscience.com. And I encourage people.
I think we're seeing the information up there. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Go ahead.
I encourage people to go to the website and or call for the symposium coming up in April, as well as our lectures, our lunch and learn lectures on Friday, the 2nd Friday of the month. Or if they want one-on-one counseling, they can always make an appointment with myself in the clinic at HPN.
Okay, and the contact information we have, that we'll put that up online. And are there any other resources that you would recommend to people who are serious about trying to make lifestyle changes?
We rely pretty heavily on several websites, one being the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, another one being Cleveland Clinic Center for Brain Health and Wellness, as well as the Institute of Lifestyle Medicine. So those three websites have a plethora of resources available that patients can utilize, that we utilize as well.
All right, Dr. Smith and James, thank you both. And parting thoughts on lifestyle medicine?
You know, one of the things that is key to lifestyle medicine is And the reason that James and I have been very involved in it is we have to set the example. And I really appreciate lifestyle medicine for that.
All right. We appreciate you coming in and talking. Hopefully everyone's inspired to learn more. Go to the website. Thank you both for coming in and talking with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Tanya.
Absolutely. Well, up next.